My name is Danish Elias, and this channel is called From the Steel Trenches. I haven't chosen this name lightly. For the last 35 years, I have lived in the trenches of the global steel industry. Not from boardrooms or spreadsheets alone, but with my boots on the ground across the United States, Europe, China, India, Middle East, Vietnam, and many countries in Africa. This channel is not about theory. It's about why steel really matters to nations, to industries, and most importantly, to people. Steel is everywhere, yet most people never think about it. It's in the buildings we work, in the bridges we cross, the cars we drive, the machines that feed us, the infrastructure that holds entire societies together. But steel is also volatile. It rises, it falls, it creates prosperities, and it leaves devastation when it leaves. I've seen both. I've seen the collapse of steel making in the United States and Europe. I've seen the meteoric rise of China, followed now by India, as it emerges as the next global steel powerhouse. This channel exists because there are stories to be told honestly, completely, and transparently. So let's begin with America. That's where steel died, where steel towns died. There was a time when American steel ruled the world. Names like Bethlehem Steel weren't just companies, they were identities. I've walked through towns where entire generations worked the same mills. Fathers, sons, daughters. Steel wasn't a job, it was a life contract. And then it disappeared. Bethlehem Steel collapsed, and with it went jobs, pensions, dignity, and futures. I just didn't see the factories shut down. I saw lives dismantled, empty homes, broken communities. People who did everything right, worked hard, stayed loyal, only to be told they were obsolete. They needed new skills to be developed. Steel just doesn't die quietly. It leaves scars. A similar echo is in Europe. Look at United Kingdom. United Kingdom was a giant in steelmaking. I spent years in Swansea and Eberwell, a place that lived and breathed steel. Today, much of that world is gone. Where British furnaces once burned, they've disappeared. Supply chains have shifted east. Energy costs have risen. Environmental rules have strangulated industries. Global competition has become unforgiving. Steel making moved not because Europeans forgot how to make steel, but because the economics changed. And steel always follows economics. Now, China. It's a rise that no one has fully understood. I don't think the world grasped at first what was happening in China. But my journeys took me not to Pittsburgh or Swansea, but to Jiangsu province, Shandong province, Hebei province. Entire cities were being built around steel. Furnaces larger than anything I had seen before. Scale that redefined the word capacity. China didn't just make steel cheaper, it made steel strategic. Infrastructure first, housing, shipbuilding, machinery, and then exports. exports that flooded the global markets. And in doing so, China reshaped global trade, pricing, logistics, and most importantly, geopolitics. Love it or hate it, modern steel history cannot be told without China. It produces about 1 billion tons of steel, more than double the entire world's capacity. The next chapter is also beginning, and this time in India. India, in some ways, reminds me of China 25 years ago, but with its own complexities. There is, of course, massive domestic demand, ambitious infrastructure goals, steaming with young engineers. Private and public players are competing fiercely, but there are also challenges: logistic bottlenecks, policy uncertainty, environmental pressure, price volatility. India is not just the future of steel making, it is a battleground of steel economics. And it is still unfolding in real time. But let's take a step back. Steel is not just made, it is also used. Here's something many analysts forget. Steel making is only half the story. The other half, perhaps a more important half, are the steel users. They provide employment, add to the GDP. And I've spent years with steel users in Africa, Middle East, India. They've been fabricators, contractors, infrastructure builders, just manufacturers, small, mid-size, large, across the spectrum. These are people who live on razor-thin margins, unpredictable prices, rising transport costs, and constantly changing government regulations. Their dreams are tied to steel delivery schedules. The stress levels rise with every price hike. Their survival depends on timing, trust, and cash flow. Steel users don't hedge in spreadsheets. They hedge with their livelihoods. And these stories must be told, and they deserve to be told. Steel is brutal because it sits at the intersection of global politics, energy markets, freight and logistics, environment regulation, technology shifts. A simple policy change can wipe out margins overnight. A shipping disruption can kill a project. A currency swing can erase months of profit. And I've seen companies survive wars only to fail because of freight rates. This channel will talk about these realities, not just headline prices. More importantly, we'll look into the future, the coming of new technology, AI, and the next generation. Steel is being decarbonized. Cleaner processes are coming up. Increasing production through the electric arc furnace. Hydrogen is an option. Supply chains are being digitized. AI is making inroads into forecasting, into predictive maintenance, into steel making itself. But technology alone doesn't solve everything. That's why I want to bring young engineers into the conversation. The industry will not survive without them. We need their ideas. We need to know their frustrations, their opinions, and sometimes even their disillusionment. We'll talk to them. We'll listen to them. We'll challenge them and let them challenge us. So why am I doing this? Because steel discussion today is either too shallow, too promotional, or too detached from reality. I want this channel to be honest, sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes nostalgic, sometimes critical, sometimes hopeful. This is not a sales pitch. This is not corporate messaging. This is 35 years of lived experience shared openly. What can you expect? We'll talk about the past, the present, the future of global steel, regional shifts and geopolitical realities, steel users and their struggles, technology and sustainability, young voices and new ideas, hard lessons learned the expensive way, and yes, stories. Because steel without stories is just metal. If you have a story to share, if you have lived through a plant shutdown, if you're a steel user battling volatility, if you're a young engineer trying to find your place, if you disagree with me and want a real conversation, get in touch. This channel is not a monologue forever. It's the start of a dialogue. I want to feature you, your stories, in future broadcasts. Steel has shaped nations, it has built cities, it has broken lives. I've seen it all from the trenches. If you want to understand steel beyond charts and headlines, if you care about where the industry is going, if you believe experience still matters, then you are in the right place. Welcome to From the Steel Trenches.